Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time we're exploring Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus.
And what a book it is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's so popular right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And there's tons to unpack from it.
And that's what we're here for, right?
Exactly.
We've got reviews and analysis and, all
There's
this
stuff.
all this stuff to help us really dive deep.
To get to that next level of understanding of it all,
That's
right?
Exactly.
So Lessons in Chemistry is set in the 1960s.
A very interesting time.
Yeah, a time of major societal shifts.
Especially for women.
Especially for women.
Yeah. And that's where we meet Elizabeth Zott.
Her brilliant chemist protagonist.
And she's trying to make it in a world that
wants to hold her back, basically.
wants to put her in the kitchen and keep her there.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't accept that.
No, she doesn't.
She's up against a lot of sexism.
Oh, yeah.
Workplace hurdles.
The kind of stuff you see in all these...
Oh, tons of these stories.
These kinds of stories, right?
Yeah, but hers is really captivating.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was really well done, is how Garmus just captures it all so well. You feel for Elizabeth.
You really do.
Especially when she's overlooked for promotions.
Or just dismissed.
Just because she's a woman.
Yeah.
And that's actually where the novel takes kind of an interesting turn.
Yeah, it kind of zigs when you think it's going to zag.
It does. Instead of finding traditional success in a lab,
with all the beakers and stuff.
she becomes the host
Of all things.
of a cooking show.
A cooking show.
But she doesn't just teach recipes.
There's a lot more to it.
She teaches scientific principles.
Sneaking it in there.
Sneaking it in.
Which is just genius.
I love that part.
Yeah, it's like, moments under the guise of...
See really yummy sounding recipes.
Right, exactly. It's making science more...
Digestible.
Digestible, yeah, exactly. Like, how do you think...
And entertaining, too.
Yeah, and engaging, right?
How do you think?
How do you get people to...
How do you get people to watch and actually want to learn?
Yeah, what is it about this approach that
really resonates with people?
I think it's the empowerment that she offers.
Yeah, especially at that time in the 1960s.
Yeah, she's challenging traditional expectation.
Of being a woman at that time.
Not just a housewife.
Yeah.
Not just a pretty face on TV.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant scientist using her knowledge to educate.
Yeah. It's kind of subversive in a way.
It is. She's saying, hey, you can be interested in chemistry.
And enjoy a good meal.
And enjoy a good meal. Exactly.
Right.
It's dismantling those old stereotypes.
And I think that makes her appealing.
And it's also a reflection, I think, of the changing times.
And it's a fight for women's rights.
And all that was gaining a lot of momentum at that time.
Right, in the 1960s. So
it was.
Garmus is really tapping into...
a very relatable experience for a lot of women.
Especially at that time. So we've got this brilliant, strong-willed woman...
who's challenging the norms.
By using her cooking show.
To educate.
But now let's delve a bit deeper.
Okay.
Into gender equality.
Into gender equality.
And I think we can't talk about this novel without...
to talking about the sexism.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It is everywhere.
Fiddle digs.
Oh, yeah. Blatant discrimination.
You see it all.
Garmus doesn't shy away from it.
Which is great.
It's great. And she really portrays the realities of being a woman in a...
in a man's world.
Yeah, in a male-dominated field.
In the lab, but also...
But also in her personal life.
Yeah, and her...
when she's pressured to get married.
Get married.
And have kids.
Even though...
when she's perfectly happy just focusing on her career.
Yeah, and that highlights...
yeah, all the societal expectations that were placed on women at that time.
Defying constantly.
Constantly.
And that defiance, I think, makes her such an
inspiring character.
For readers, then.
And now.
Yeah, even today.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, how different her journey might have been. She was born a few decades later.
A few decades later. Would she still face those same hurdles?
Maybe.
Or would she have more opportunities?
Maybe.
To shine.
We've made some progress.
We have.
There's still a long way to go.
Still a long way to go.
And Elizabeth's story kind of reminds us of that.
Yeah.
That the fight is ongoing.
For equal opportunity.
Yeah. And even today, women in STEM...
face those same challenges.
They face similar challenges.
It's a powerful testament to their resilience.
It is.
Okay, so we've got gender equality, but we also have these themes of resilience.
And transformation.
That really shine through, too, right?
They do. Elizabeth faces setback after setback.
But she comes back stronger.
Stronger every time.
You see it time and again.
Remember that scene when she loses her research funding?
Oh, yeah.
And she's forced to take a job at a different lab?
It'd be easy to give up at that point.
She could have just given up.
But she didn't.
Instead, she uses it.
As an opportunity to reinvent herself.
Exactly. And she's always adapting. Finding new ways to pursue that passion.
For science.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's powerful, right?
It's a powerful message,
To stay true to yourself,
even when you're faced with adversity.
even when it's hard.
Yeah. And it's not just about overcoming the challenge.
Right.
It's about using that experience
We grow.
to transform yourself and your whole approach.
And you see that in how she
He
evaluates.
embraces that role on the cooking show.
Right.
She could have just seen it as a setback.
Like, oh man, this is a step down.
I'm not in the lab anymore.
Yeah.
But instead,
He makes it into a platform.
a platform for empowerment.
Right. She turns this fluffy cooking show
It's fluffy cooking show
into this vehicle.
for scientific education
Yeah.
and for social commentary.
And that's an example
That's a powerful example
of taking control of your life,
of taking control,
of creating something positive
something positive,
out of something that seems negative
finding your voice.
in unexpected places.
Yeah.
And speaking of finding your voice, this book highlights
The power of knowledge.
the power of knowledge. Yeah.
It does.
Elizabeth uses her scientific expertise,
Not just for her career.
but to empower others.
I love how she demystifies science
Yeah.
and makes it accessible to everyday life.
Yeah. She makes it relevant.
Remember that episode where she explains the Maillard reaction
Oh, yeah.
and how it creates that delicious browning on meat?
It makes you hungry just thinking about it.
It does, and suddenly everyone understands this complex chemical process
Without even realizing.
without even realizing they're learning science.
Exactly. And it's like she's saying, look, science isn't just for...
For academics in ivory towers.
Yeah.
It's all around us.
It's in your kitchen.
It's in your kitchen.
Yeah. And that knowledge can be so empowering.
I think so.
It can help us make decisions,
Informed decisions.
understand the world,
Challenge the status quo,
just like she does,
just like Elizabeth does.
throughout the novel.
Throughout the novel.
Yeah. And she's encouraging
She's encouraging her viewers
to think critically.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
To experiment in their own kitchens.
Yeah.
To not be afraid of failure.
Try new things.
Yeah, she's fostering a sense of curiosity.
Which is inspiring.
It is.
Okay, so we've got this compelling story of Elizabeth Zott battling sexism,
Challenging norms.
using her knowledge to empower others.
It's a good story.
But now let's talk about Bonnie Garmus and her writing.
Okay.
What did you think about how she brought this to life?
Her writing is so sharp and witty.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't help but be drawn in by Elizabeth's voice.
Yeah.
And it's not just the humor.
Right.
There's a depth of emotion there, too.
Yeah.
You really feel for Elizabeth.
As she's going through all of this?
Yeah, but you also admire her strength and resilience.
I agree.
It's the perfect blend, I think.
I think so too. And it makes you feel like you're
Like you're talking to a friend
talking to a friend
who's just as passionate about these things.
who gets it.
Who gets it?
Yeah, and I like how she weaves in these serious topics
Yeah.
without ever being preachy,
It's not preachy.
which can be a fine line.
It can be.
Yeah, but she does it perfectly.
Yeah. It's humor. It's social commentary.
Scientific exploration.
It's got it all.
But then there's this element that sets it apart.
What's that?
The dog.
The dog.
As a character.
6:30.
6:30.
What a character.
And it's not just a gimmick,
I know.
right? 6:30 provides this unique perspective.
He really does.
Like he's watching
He's watching all the absurdity
all the absurdity of humans,
of the human world.
and you find yourself chuckling at his reactions.
You do.
But there's a truth to it.
There is.
There's a deeper truth.
There is.
And it adds humor and emotional depth.
And I think it reminds us that sometimes it takes an outsider's perspective
Sometimes you need that.
to really see things for what they are.
Yeah. And who better to give
A
that?
hog
Who's just watching it all unfold.
watching it all unfold.
So we've talked about the plot,
The characters.
the themes,
The dog.
but we need to talk about the supporting characters.
Okay.
They're important too.
They play such a crucial role.
Like Calvin Evans.
Calvin Evans.
Her love interest.
He's great
He sees Elizabeth
for who she is.
for her intellect and ambition.
And he challenges her
Yeah.
in a way that sparks.
That chemistry,
Yeah.
intellectual and romantic.
It's not your typical romance.
It's very refreshing.
It's a meeting of the minds.
And then there's Harriet Sloane,
Her best friend.
her confidante,
Yeah.
single mother.
Also navigating
All the challenges
of being a woman in the 1960s.
and their friendship.
Provides such great support.
It really does.
I love their conversations.
They're so honest.
Honest and relatable.
Motherhood relationships.
They're there for each other.
Through thick and thin.
And it's a reminder that we don't have to go through these things alone.
That's so important.
It is.
And their friendship.
highlights the importance of
Women supporting women.
Especially in a time when...
They were often pitted against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got this compelling protagonist.
A great cast of supporting characters.
Unique setting thought-provoking themes.
Why has it resonated so much with readers?
I know, right?
Why do people love this book so much?
It's a combination of factors, I think.
I think so.
It's funny.
It is.
It's smart.
It is.
Relatable characters.
But ultimately, Elizabeth's unyielding spirit.
She just refuses to give up.
She's a reminder that we can challenge norms.
Pursue our passions.
Make a difference.
Even when it's tough.
When the odds are stacked against us.
Yeah, and she does it all.
With a lab coat.
And a whisk.
And a whisk.
Now that's inspiring.
Speaking of inspiring.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the critical reception.
Oh.
It has garnered widespread acclaim.
People love this book.
They do. They love the witty writing.
Compelling characters.
The insightful exploration.
Societal issues.
Yeah, reviewers love how Garmus blends humor and seriousness.
Yeah, it's a good blend.
It's a good blend, makes it entertaining and intellectually stimulating.
And it won a Goodreads Choice Award.
For Best Debut Novel.
In 2022.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, so let's take a moment to think about
the 1960s.
1960s America.
What a time.
Yeah.
So much social and political change.
The civil rights movement was gaining momentum.
The space race.
Traditional gender roles were being challenged.
Yeah, and Garmus does a great job
of weaving all these threads
into the narrative.
In this story.
Showing how they impact Elizabeth's life.
Yeah, for example, she portrays the limited opportunities
for women in science.
At that time.
At that time.
And that really underscores
the barriers
that Elizabeth had to
overcome.
Yeah, it makes her successes even more
remarkable.
Because she's not achieving them because of some easy path.
It wasn't easy for her.
No, she had to fight for everything.
And that's what makes it so relevant.
For us today.
Even though it was decades ago, those themes of gender inequality.
Fighting for your dreams.
Staying true to yourself.
They're timeless.
They're timeless.
It's a reminder that progress
isn't always linear.
And that the fight for equality is an ongoing journey, and it makes us think about
the subtle forms of bias
that might still exist,
that might still be around.
Yeah, how can we challenge them
effectively?
So we've got the social commentary,
scientific exploration,
and a touch of romance.
How does she weave it all together?
Yeah,
I think it's the characters.
I think so too. They're so well developed.
Yeah, Elizabeth is brilliant.
Flawed.
Not always likable,
but always compelling.
Always compelling.
And Calvin Evans,
her love interest,
and Harriet Sloane,
her friend,
add so much depth to the story.
Calvin being a scientist himself.
He really sees Elizabeth for who she is.
Yeah, her intellect and ambition.
And their relationship.
Challenges the traditional norms of the time.
It's so refreshing.
It's not the central focus.
But it adds that layer of warmth. Shows she's not just a brain.
Not just a brilliant mind.
She's capable of love and connection.
Absolutely. And Harriet.
She's such a great friend.
She provides that unwavering friendship and support.
Yeah, she's a single mother too.
She's navigating that world.
That doesn't always make it easy.
For women to thrive.
But she's a fighter.
She never gives up.
Yeah, their friendship
is a great example of women supporting women.
Yeah, defying expectations together.
Yeah.
And creating a space to be there.
Authentic selves.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that we don't have to go through it alone.
And then, of course,
630.
The dog.
He's essential.
He is.
Garmus uses 630 to offer this.
Different perspective.
A different perspective, almost like a Greek chorus.
Watching the human drama unfold.
Yeah.
And he's so perceptive.
Picking up on the things that the humans miss.
The nuances.
The nuances.
It's a touch of magical realism.
It is.
That adds humor.
Humor and a sense of wonder.
To the whole novel.
And it underscores the importance of empathy.
Seeing the world through different lenses.
Even a dog can give valuable insights.
In Garmus's hands.
Into the human condition.
That's true.
So what stands out as the most impactful element?
Wow.
I mean, we've covered a lot.
We have.
It's a great book.
It is?
I think it's the way the book makes us question our assumptions about gender roles.
The pursuit of knowledge.
The power of individual action.
It's a story that stays with you.
It does.
Long after you finish it.
It does.
And that lasting impact is what we're going to explore further.
I'm excited.
Me too, as we continue our deep dive into lessons in chemistry.
I can't wait. One of the things that really stood out to me was...
What's that?
The humor.
Oh, yeah.
It tackles some pretty serious subjects.
But with a light touch?
Yeah, it's not just like a
joke here or there.
It's woven into the whole story.
Yeah, like Garmus makes you laugh.
And things
at the same time.
About gender inequality.
All the limitations placed on women.
And that's what makes it
good.
Yeah, accessible.
To a wider audience.
It's not a lecture.
No.
It's just a good story.
Yeah.
That makes you think.
Do you have a favorite example?
Of the humor.
Yeah, something that just stuck with you.
Oh, there's so many.
I know, right?
Okay, one that comes to mind.
Okay.
The scene where Elizabeth is explaining stoichiometry.
Stoichiometry.
Balancing equations in chemistry.
Yeah.
She compares it to making a sandwich.
Okay.
She says, you can't just throw a bunch of ingredients together and expect a perfect sandwich.
You need the right proportions.
You need the right proportions.
I love it.
It's so simple,
Yeah.
but it makes you understand.
Exactly. And it's those little
Unexpected analogies.
that makes science more approachable.
So much more approachable.
Like she's translating it.
Into the language we can all understand.
Exactly.
And it's not just the humor.
What else?
The absurdity of the situation.
The situations that Elizabeth finds herself in.
Yeah, that highlight the ridiculousness of the societal norms.
Give me an example.
Okay, think about the cooking show.
Okay.
Here's this brilliant chemist relegated to
Amazing housewives.
how to make a perfect roast.
Yeah.
It's so absurd.
It is when you think about it.
But it allows Garmus to expose those limitations.
That were placed on women.
At the time,
Yeah.
even brilliant women like Elizabeth.
It's like Garmus is saying, why is she even in this position?
Oh, right.
Like, it's not fair.
It makes you laugh.
But then it makes you think about how unfair it all is.
It's a clever way to do it.
It is.
To address these issues.
Without being too
heavy-handed.
Yeah.
You know?
Now let's talk about finding your purpose.
Okay.
Even when it doesn't fit the mold.
That resonates.
With so many of us.
Feeling like you're meant for something more.
Yeah. Something different.
Different than what's expected.
Elizabeth's journey really shows that
she could have just conformed
to the expectations
of being a wife and a mother.
Which was expected of women at that time.
Yeah, she didn't.
She chose science.
She chose science.
Even though it's tough.
Yeah.
Going against the grain.
And it's not just that she chose science.
But she made it her own.
Yeah.
She didn't let the establishment dictate how she was going to
do it.
Pursue her passion.
Yeah.
And that's what's so empowering about it.
She found her own voice.
Yeah, her own way.
Of expressing her knowledge.
Yeah. And that message is so relevant today.
I think so too.
When we're told
how to live. All the time.
Constantly bombarded.
Elizabeth's story reminds us
that it's okay.
To be different.
To forge your own path.
To define success.
On your own terms.
It's about finding that thing.
That lights you up.
Yeah, that makes you feel alive.
I'm pursuing it.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone else thinks.
Embracing your individuality.
Yeah. Using it as a force.
For good.
Like Elizabeth does with the cooking show. She takes something ordinary, turns it into a platform.
For education?
Empower even social change.
Yeah, it reminds us that we all have that potential.
That we can make a difference.
No matter how unconventional
approach
might be.
The most unexpected paths can lead to
the most fulfilling destinations.
Yeah.
Speaking of unexpected paths, let's talk about love.
Love in Elizabeth's life.
It's not a typical love story.
Not by any means.
But it adds another layer.
To her character.
Her relationship with Calvin Evans.
Is so well done.
It's so refreshing.
It's a meeting of equals.
Two brilliant minds.
Who challenge and inspire each other.
It's not just intellectual.
No.
There's that emotional connection too.
They see each other.
For who they are.
Flaws and all.
And that's what makes their relationship so
compelling.
It defies convention.
Like Elizabeth herself.
Built on mutual respect.
Shared passion for knowledge.
And understanding each other's complexities.
It shows that even someone as independent and strong-willed
as Elizabeth
can find love.
Yeah, without sacrificing her
identity
or ambition.
Yeah, it's a refreshing take on romance.
It really is.
It emphasizes finding a partner
who supports your dreams,
celebrates your individuality,
and it shows that Elizabeth
is not just a scientist.
Right.
She's also a woman
capable of deep love
and connection.
Yeah. Before we move on, I want to talk about the ending.
Oh, the ending.
Don't give too much away.
No spoilers.
But it's such a
brilliant culmination
of Elizabeth's journey.
I agree, it's unexpected.
Yeah.
But satisfying. It ties everything together.
And leaves you with a sense of possibility.
Yeah, it celebrates her resilience.
Her intelligence.
The determination.
To create a better world.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like
anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
The most unconventional paths can lead to
extraordinary outcomes.
Yes.
It makes you want to go out and just
embrace the world
with that same sense of curiosity
on determination
that Elizabeth has
And never let anyone tell you
that you can't achieve your dreams.
no matter how unconventional they might be.
Okay, go.
For those who haven't read the book,
Yes.
what would you say?
To entice them.
To pick it up.
To read it.
I would say this is a story that will make you laugh,
Okay.
make you think,
Oh,
and
really?
leave you feeling inspired.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a celebration of individuality,
Okay.
a testament to the power of knowledge
And a reminder.
that we can make a difference.
One unconventional step at a time.
Exactly.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And now we're going to take a short break.
Okay.
But when we come back, we'll dive even deeper,
Into lessons in chemistry.
exploring its lasting impact.
I can't wait.
Me neither. And what it can teach us.
About navigating
The challenges.
of our time.
Stay tuned. We're back. And, as we've been discussing Elizabeth Zott's story, I keep thinking about how her approach to life could be a powerful tool even today.
What do you mean?
Well, her blend of science and everyday experiences.
Oh, yeah, like how she brings science into the kitchen.
Exactly. And I think that could really drive social change.
Yeah.
Even today.
That's interesting because she does show us that knowledge.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be stuck in a textbook.
Right. It can be part of our lives.
And when it is, it's more relatable.
For everyone.
Yeah, for everyone.
And especially when we're talking about things like gender equality.
Yeah, because when you
break down these complex ideas
into smaller pieces
Elizabeth empowers her audience.
to challenge those norms.
Right. It's like she's giving them the tools.
The tools to think differently.
Yeah. Think about the women watching her show.
Okay.
They're not just learning recipes.
Right, they're learning about
Chemical reactions.
critical thinking.
Challenging the status quo.
It's subtle, but
powerful.
yeah, she's planting these seeds.
Of empowerment.
And that can lead to big changes.
When you empower people with knowledge,
They can question things.
it can challenge.
They can create change.
What do you think the world would be like
Hmm.
if we all had that same,
Curiosity.
and determination that Elizabeth has?
It'd be pretty amazing, I think.
I think so too.
A world where science is just part of life.
Yeah, where we're always
Thinking critically.
challenging norms,
Everyone has the opportunity to...
reach their full potential,
Exactly.
regardless of gender or background.
I love that.
Yeah. And I think Elizabeth's story also shows the importance of role models.
Especially for young women.
To see someone like her succeed,
In a field dominated by men.
it opens up possibilities.
For them.
Yeah, it shows them that they can
Achieve
anything no matter what.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave you with a final question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Think about Elizabeth naming her daughter after a scientific concept.
Okay.
Do you think we need more role models like that?
To inspire future generations.
To challenge those norms,
I think so.
to forge their own paths?
Yeah, it makes you think about the power of individuality.
It really does.
Breaking free from expectations.
And creating your own way.
It's inspiring.
It really is.
So as you go about your day,
Yeah.
think about Elizabeth Zott.
Her courage, her resilience.
That unwavering belief in knowledge.
Ask yourself, how can you make a difference?
In your own way.
What small acts of defiance can you bring to the table
I love that.
to create a more just,
More curious.
more vibrant world?
Something to think about.
Food for thought.
It is.
And that wraps up our deep dive into lessons in chemistry.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, keep those brain cells bubbling.